So today, my session today is going to be about Microsoft Education in the class, and in particularly in the language class, and how to create immersive and engaged learning experiences, especially now more than ever that sometimes we have to deliver those lessons online. And I'm going to introduce myself now. My name is Gloria Enrique. I'm a Spanish teacher, as you can notice from my accent, in Sacred Heart to L'Amour, and I'm my expert, and our school is a Microsoft school. We have been using the Microsoft education tools for a while. However, as everyone that probably have been using that same tools at the same time, they know that we have to adapt to all the changes that we'll be living for the moment, and we have to kind of learn again all over. So I'm just going to share with you today, if that's okay. I'm not going to do anything about how to create a team or how to use OneNote or something like that. I'm not going to do any of that. I'm going to share with you a couple of very useful links where you can find great tutorials for that. Okay, what I'm going to try to share is some ideas that I'm using in the class to help students with all the Microsoft tools and some other things that are not Microsoft. I put a couple of other things there as well, okay? So to begin with, the Microsoft Education Centers, great tutorials there. Then we have as well the education demos that are really good because there are just follow, click here, click there. So I think those are very good. And then I always recommend Mike Tholson. I put there his Twitter tag and his YouTube, because he creates these great, really small YouTube videos that, you know, are very good for kind of technical questions that we may have. As well, I'm a big fan of Twitter, and I know there are great ideas, great people out there in Twitter sharing how they use technology in the classroom. So I always recommend Twitter. Of course, the community of practice that the PPLI always organize in the areas are fantastic, always sharing ideas with our colleagues in the area. And Facebook, I know they have as well very good MFL groups. So sharing ideas, I think, is one of the main things. And I was quite surprised positively to see how everyone starts sharing when the lockdown came in, and now as well, of how to support the students in kind of a different way. So to begin with, okay, because I put a lot of stuff, so I don't know, I always do that. So hopefully we'll get time to go through everything. First of all, I'm going to talk about Microsoft Teams and how I use it, okay? So I'm going to share my Teams. I don't know if, can you see the Teams screen here? Perfect,
yeah,
thank you.
Yes, we can see everything.
It's the first time I use Zoom for presenting, so I'm quite excited about this. So to begin with, I created a German one. I'm not a German teacher, sorry, but I created a German team, okay, for my junior cycle. So first of all, what I like to do with Teams, I think is great because the kids are very used to use this kind of like chatting and messaging and things like that. So I created a poll. I like to create polls, especially with junior cycle. We only have 2 hours with them a week. So I like that they practice a bit more during the week, the language. So I created a poll, very simple, of how are you? Are you fine? Are you okay? Do you want to add a choice there of maybe you feel? So this way they can practice a bit more in a kind of like informal way, their language. Now, this is a poll I could actually create, and this could be as well for exit tickets or at the beginning of class, just to ask, you know, how are you getting on? How do you get on with the homework? Things like that. Not only for a vocabulary revision point of view, if not as well, how are you getting on? Do we need to revise something or things like that? As well, I created with Poly, but if we are going to new conversation, I could create something here with forms, and that could be more of a test of kind of a bit of more of reflection. So as well, at the end of an activity or at the end of the class, we could actually put there like, how do you get on? What are the top 5 things you will choose for the activity? Some things that you will improve, something like that. So again, a very easy way to create something just in the moment, and for them to answer it as well very fast in 2 seconds when you are checking the role, a very fast kind of activity. Or when simply we don't have class that day and you want for them to revise a bit of vocabulary. Another thing I use as well, post in Teams, is maybe to start a bit of conversation in the language. So I may post a question there and the people could reply, the students, sorry, not the people, the students could reply there in there. I put something very simple, like my favorite food is pasta. What is your favorite food? Again, it could be something to do with Germany, you know, or other language, and the students could reply there and in the replies, and start a conversation that way with the class. And I always invite them to create their own conversations between them. Normally it's also random homework, but I hope that one day they actually start the conversation of, I found this resource, what do you think, and all these kind of things. I use it, of course, to just put resources there for them, that there are not that much as curriculum, but something that may they enjoy, like maybe there it is as well, for sharing some resources that there maybe are not curricular, but still like that are important for them to learn more things. And again, I always invite them to share resources themselves that they may find and things like that. And then finally, this I put it here because I found it very useful when we were in lockdown. And I think as well, when some students are absent, they can find this very well from home. So basically what I do is I create links to the resources that we are going to use in class, so they can follow the lesson at home. So for example, we could start the lesson with a Menti to revise a bit of vocabulary or something like that. So I put the link there in their Teams. So I will share with the code, and they can put it there. And then they know that the next thing we are going to do, and come back to general, the next thing we are going to do is the class notes. That is a PowerPoint that we share with recording or whatever, and they can click there and they can go as well there to the PowerPoint. And next thing, I didn't create a PowerPoint, sorry. And then next thing, it will be a bit of a Kahoot game that they can do too, the vocabulary with Quizlet, and then finally their homework will be there as well. So I found that creating the links, and again, a very easy way of, I'm going just to, so very fast, I know I wasn't going to go into the technical things, but just very fast, if you are going to create your conversation, you highlight the points that you want to share the link with, and you just select that link icon there. You can paste the link that you have for your PowerPoint or other resources, and that will allow the students then to go straight to your resource. And I think that may help, especially that those students that may not be at home, or they may be at home, they may be absent as well. You know, sometimes they all need a bit of help sometimes at the beginning, just to get used to get around Teams. So that could be helpful for them as well, to kind of know where we are at all the time, or maybe then for when they go home to know exactly what we did that class. And I leave assignments for a bit later. What else I like with Teams? I like Teams for the simple thing that it is all there. All the resources that we are going to use is there. So students don't need to go nowhere else to, you know, sometimes it's very complicated just for them to go and say, go to the internet and search something, and they start searching other things, other YouTube or whatever things they do. So if there is all in one place, I find myself that it's a bit easier for them just to go. And again, there is a lot of resources integrated already with Teams, like Quizlet and Flipgrid. We are going to talk a bit more about Flipgrid in a minute. A stream for your videos. I know some of you using Nearpod or Peer Deck in your classroom, so as well there is an integration there for that. And I found that that's a lot easier than just to share the link with the students, that sometimes, especially if there are first years, they find a bit more challenging to find their way around. So I like Teams for that reason. It's all there, all in one place. I like as well, I know it's been a challenge, and we are still kind of figuring out how to do the work group, especially with the social distancing and things like that. So I like Teams because you can create without the team a private group where particular students and yourself can work together there. And I think that's very good for that, for group projects and things like that. And as well, you can still add in there all those resources that we say before for them. So if they want to create, what is the name? Work clouds or something to work with the first ideas, they can actually install where it is meant. It was there. Sorry, this is not normally my team, so I find it difficult to find things around. So there it is, MindMonster for your brainstorming and your work clouds, things like that, as well. Different things you have there, different things that's to help students create their own groups, and that will be only between specific students that you want to add to that group, and only those students will be there working. So if we say, like, for example, add channel, we created, we could put team 1 just for today, and rather than say a standard, you say private, next. That will give you the option to choose there what the students you want to be part of that team. And then those students will be invited straight away. They don't need to join anything or anything. They will be just there straight away, and they can work together in that. So again, still working some things up, but that seems to be working okay for them. They are happy to share their work there without the need to be in the same room or close together. Now, and finally, assignments. I think that's actually great, very helpful for us. And I think as well, we did a poll at the beginning of the year to see how it was easier for them, for the students to use. And they really like assignments because they keep reminding there that they have an assignment, and they keep, they have it all in their calendars. They can see what they are doing, what they have to do, different things. And they really like assignments. And I really do, because it is very easy to correct. It's very easy to provide quick feedback, and students can create as well, very easy to do. So, grades as well is particularly handy then to just have in one place all the work that the students have done. So for example, I created 3 imaginary students there. I added 3 imaginary students to my team, and I created imaginary as well projects that I'm going to show now. And there will appear the grade that I have done. And as we have more projects, you will see all there. Very handy as well, because you can export all that in Excel, so you can have a record for yourself later on for parent-teacher meetings or just for yourselves. So assignments, why I really like it. As well, they are really easy. You can reuse assignments that you use. So if you have different year groups, you can reuse all those assignments, or if there is something that's you have created a couple of years ago, you can still reusing it. Quizzes, very easy to create with forms, and very easy to grade as well with forms. And then finally assignments, where you can add anything and everything. So just add the title and the instructions, and you can add every single type of resources you would like there. So as you can see, for your OneDrive in the school, for your class notebook, or even you can create a new one. I like to do that sometimes if they are creating a PowerPoint, or if you want to do something with in their copy or in a poster or something like that, to take a picture and to then upload it into a Word document. We are doing letters at the moment, so some of the students rather to do it by hand, so they do it in their copies, they take a picture and they insert it in their Word documents, because for me it's easier to correct the picture when they are in the Word document and to give feedback that kind of way. So I insert a blank Word document, I call it letter, and I attach it like that. And as you can see, the first option is the students can edit, but if I select this and I say edit their copy, they can actually then, so the resources there there are two types, the ones that you are giving as a guide, or the ones that you want the students to use and to reduce and to add edits there. So that's two options there are very important, I think. And now finally the points. If you just some homework, you don't want to give points, that's fine. You don't put anything there. If there is an assignment, you can put points there. And something I really like it, and I find it particularly useful for correcting, is the rubric. And again, you can create new rubrics, or you can actually upload them, or you can reuse ones that you have created before. I uploaded that one for a previous one, so I'm going to say next, and there it is. You can actually edit what you have created there and different to suit the projects you have done, and to change as well the title if it's a different kind of project. And then when you attach it, that's there, which is great for students to know exactly what you are expecting from them, or what you are expecting from their work. Now, I know that probably you know this as well, but you can schedule your posts. Tomorrow morning will be a big scheduling day for me. If you press that there, you can actually schedule the post, and it will not post it. That assignment will not post it until you want it. So for example, I don't like to post work in the weekend, or obviously not Sundays, that will be, you know, so I will put it, for example, on Monday I have class, and I have class at 9 o'clock. So I just put it there for 9. And then as well, what time is 2. And I put it there, it's the same. And then if I want that the students not be able to hand me more projects or anything, I close it there as well. And that will be it. It's no more to do with that. So you always will see who hang it out late anyway, but that's always very good. The good things with Teams I always like is once I'm going to discard this, once you have your project, you can see there who actually hanging in, or who actually saw it. So there cannot be that thing like, oh, I don't know what I had to do, or I didn't know what I have to do. You will always see here, so, or you know, or no, like here, no hanging. So obviously the student didn't even see it. So that's, yeah, that could work there of, I didn't see the project, I didn't know what I have to do. But you will always see there, oh, no, you actually saw it, but you didn't hand me anything. Try again and see if we can actually work. And you can give there as well your feedback, which is great because it could create that feedback cycle of giving feedback, the students correct, and what you have said, and they handling again, which is great for portfolio work and things like that. I think there is a question. No? Okay. So if it's okay with everyone, I'm going to continue. I'm going just to check what's next. So next is going to be OneNote. Okay, so I'm going to share again. Where is my OneNote? There it is. I'm going to share my screen, and I'm going to share OneNote. And OneNote is something I really like, okay? And actually, I create my OneNote with Teams now. I used to create them before only OneNote, class notebooks, and share it with the students. Now it's all created in Teams, which is a lot faster. And that's how I do the class notebook. And I normally have one notebook for myself, one for the department, and one for the students. So just to work in different ways. And I know that everyone is different and they like different things, but that's my process. And I think that's the great thing of OneNote, how can help you to with different ways, because it adapts very well to everything. So why I like OneNote that much? Well, first of all, it's very easy to create resources, and it's very easy to share with the students, and it's very easy to see what the students are working at the time. So there is my first page I created there, just an example of different things I may use in a class, but I share with them. Sorry, in Spanish. My German is not that great. So first of all, I just put the learning intentions there, and then some important worse. That's maybe in that time. This time I created one of those language maths. I think we all have heard from Gianfranco Conti and how great he is with all his fantastic books and resources he shares. So a big fan of his. And I created one of that for Spanish for the time. Like, again, I share the link here with them, but I will share it as with the students, but I will share it as well in Teams, which is easy for them to kind of get there. GeneKit is something new I started using this year, and actually the students really enjoy it. And I think it's the thing of the money. When they get answers correctly, they get money, fake money, of course. But I think it's kind of like that's competitiveness, and they really like it. And it's something that's I like. I tried this year and it worked very well. Then again, I like my, and now you can actually share and embed your PowerPoints and things like that with within OneNote, which I think is great. Some students are very visual, and I think it's great that they can actually access their PowerPoint straight there and just see it without need of anything else. And again, I know I'm sharing the same resource over and over in Teams, in OneNote, but I know some students rather themselves to go to Teams and open it there. And I know that other students rather to go to OneNote and see everything in one place there as well in one page. So for that, I do that. And the only thing you have to do is just put a link and actually it just embeds there. It's not that I have to do a lot. I spend a lot of time creating this. This just that's easy of putting a link, inserting a link, and that's it. And again, there are all PowerPoints that I have for a really long time. I just changed the font, but the rest is all the same. Now, another thing as well, Genially, it's something I actually started using a couple of years ago, and it's very interactive and very good for this kind of true or false or things like that, and very easy to use. And there is a lot of different templates and games and things already created that you can actually edit for your own class. So very easy as well to do this kind of activities. Again, just copy and paste the link and it creates a very visual page there that can help you with that. Again, this year we are not using notes or copies that much, so I'm putting the works from their books there so they can actually write and I can see if they are getting correct or no. Of course, inserting audio in OneNote is one of the things I really like, and I know my students always say, oh, if she say it again, it's going to drive us mad. But I think that speaking the language is what we learn the language to speak it. So for me, oral work and listening skills are very important. So I do like OneNote for that reason. And especially I can actually record myself and the students can record themselves as well. So I know that it's very difficult and it could be time consuming, go home and be listening to, 20 students reading 20 sentences, but I think it's very easy for them to just go home, insert audio and just start talking, and and then they just stop and they can listen it again as well themselves, and they kind of autocorrect themselves if they think that that's not okay. And I know at the beginning probably nobody likes really very much listening to themselves, but I think it is great for them to kind of practice that and they feel more confident after a couple of weeks doing it. So that's a good way to kind of do an exercise, not only with listening but as well for them to record themselves and listen to that. I am still working, and I will talk later about Flipgrid, and I am still working that of students practicing between themselves conversations. So I know this year is particularly challenging, so hopefully I could give you a kind of solution. And again, this is just ideas, and I know that you all are great professionals and you all have great ideas. And I hope that from some of these ideas, other ones will come up and we can share it and discuss and see how that could work in the class. So please feel free to, if you have a better option to that, just to share it. And then at the end, in here, in the lessons, I always put, again, quick tickets, Flipgrid. Why I like OneNote as well is great for portfolio work. Why? Because embed all these different apps that we have here, and I think most of us using something like that or other, and I think it's very graphic for displaying their work. And obviously working in a girls' school, they like all this kind of like, there are very detailed work and all that. But I worked with boys as well before, and I know that they are proud of their work too, and they like when it looks good. So for that, I like the OneNote for portfolio work, because it's not only that you can insert text, but you can put audio, video, different things, like Adobe Spark now is fantastic, I think, addition, and Flipgrid, of course. So there is a lot of things, or if they create even a questionnaire for class, they can put it inserted there and they can see the visual. So again, I think it looks very good for that kind of stuff. As well, I like for portfolio work or class work. Why? Because it's very easy to give feedback, and feedback in very different ways. So you can give it with your pen. So for example, I'm going to use the highlighter for a moment. So you can give it there with your highlighter, or I think my pen doesn't have battery at the moment. So you can give it with the pen, write anything there. Not only that, and I think this is for feedback, but it could be as well for students to work their own pronunciation in their own time. Dictate is works really well. As you can see, there are different languages there which recognize. You have German there. I'm not going to use German today, sorry. I'm going to put maybe English, even with my strong Spanish accent, is going to recognize. So if I want to say, good work, well done, it actually recognizes it very fast. And if I want to change, and maybe I'm going to use my Spanish and say something in Spanish for them, I will say, excelente, un trabajo perfecto. So as you can see, it's quite, it picks up the language very well. And again, sometimes we feel lazy to do some work or to give the feedback to them. So dictates works very well, as well for students to work their pronunciation. Maybe a bit better for older students doing their living search, just to practice the oral questions. That could actually work very well for them. How we can do feedback a part of the dictate? We can actually insert audio or video or just text. Stickers, big fan of stickers, especially for first, second years. They all like stickers, and you can actually modify some of them and just put something in the that one's not these ones, and put something in their target language. So for example, I can't spell anymore, or something like that. And they always like that kind of thing. I say older or younger kids, I think sometimes for the living search, especially now that I think every piece of work means so much to them, it could be a good thing to light up a bit the mood as well, a couple of these stickers. And then I'm a big fan of games in the classroom. I think it's great for some students, for ourselves as well. I think sometimes when we are over the verbs, we just get a bit like, this is too much. So I like OneNote because it's easy to create games that you can share with the students and they can play. Even they can play themselves in groups, even that there are they keep their social distancing. So I created one there, a board game that have audio and video and different things that they can actually record themselves saying something in Spanish and things like that. Who is who, to practice descriptions, and about the house, looking for my ideal house. So again, I put a map there, and they can look and make questions and practice their oral work, and as well vocabulary questions, and as well a bit of listening there with the clothes. So they just recording she's saying what type of clothes is wearing, and the students just have to put it on. Just move around and bring it to her. Of course, today doesn't work. There it is now. So just listening activity. It looks a bit different than just listening and write it down. A bit more active, so they might like. And it's quite easy to do in OneNote. Another thing I really like with OneNote as well, I have it open here, is escape the room or breakout rooms activities. So again, very easy, just to create and give a little of clues there, and then you just right click and create a password, and that password will be the one that leaves the students go to the next. And I think those are great for kind of revision, or one of those days, you know, like before the midterm or something like that, that's they keep them busy, they keep learning, and it's not just the normal thing that we normally do, like watching a movie or something like that. So I really do breakout activities. Now, next thing we are going to go, I know I'm conscious of time and I have a lot of things still. Next thing I'm going to do is talk about one of my favorite things for languages. Other that is actually Flipgrid. And again, I'm not going to go over creating or anything like that. And actually, I'm going to share again my screen, my PowerPoint, because I share here a lot of ideas. And this Flipgrid is very active in social media, Twitter. They have a lot of tutorials in YouTube that you can watch. I think every week they have 1 or 2 tutorials that you can watch. Very active in Twitter. If you ask any questions, they will always answer. And a very active community, always sharing things that they do in class. And even that here, there are a lot of activities from different years or different subjects. I think they could adapt very well to languages. And not only that, I think that when you think about Flipgrid, something always pop in your head that it will go very well in your class. So again, I'm just going to share with you one that I did recently, and that's the kids really enjoy. There it is. And it's the scavenger hunt. They really enjoy scavenger hunts. I did this one when we were in lockdown, and I thought it was great because the weather was very good, so they could go in the garden and look for things like that. So it's basically looking for things that they could say in Spanish with the colors. So they all showed me all these great things they have all in Espanol, and they were saying all like, you know, this apple is red, this book is blue, things like that. So very nice, especially I have to say that was very nice to see the first years for first time without masks. So that was very good as well, just to get to know your students a bit more. They got to see me as well without masks, so very good as well. And then what I put here, I like, and this is something new that come up this year, and I really like it. First of all, this is moderated, so only myself and the student could see it. But if there is no moderated, it's public, the comments now, you can do comments with tests. So it could be very good for kind of a peer feedback and things like that. As well, another thing, and I'm going to stop that. As well, I don't like to hear my voice like everyone else. If we are going to feedback, we can not only get feedback by the rubric and by comments via email, but as well we can record the feedback. So I think that's very good for pronunciation, helping with pronunciation and things like that. Yes, and I thought that as well, because I got audio from them, and I was thinking it will be ideal if I could get audio feedback. I think it's something that is there, that it will be very soon in Teams. Teams are always constantly working to improve, and they get feedback. They like that the teachers ask them for features. The best thing will be if you could just put it in a note, in a page in OneNote. This way, you could give, they could attach their insert file audio file into OneNote page, and then you could give the feedback to them through the OneNote. I think that could be one solution. And please, if anyone that is listening have other better idea, please share it as well, because it is something that, yeah, I do agree. I think that this will be a feedback audio option within Teams.
A couple of other.
So channels are little, as you want, subsections or something that you have in your big channel, okay, in your big team, sorry. So for example, you have the general here, is where you have all your class notes and assignments and general posts. But then what I like to do is create a small kind of like subtopics of that big channel about the topics or the units we are doing at the time. So for example, unit 1, hello, how are you? All these kind of things for first years. So there I will put resources for them, and then we can have a conversation about that subtopic there. Of course, you can not do any channel if you know one. And so that's what channels are normally. And then you can do different things. Here would be just for the main team. So if you want to add members, or if you want to change the little flag, how that looks, and you want to put something different, or get the link to the team, or maybe get a join code that you can share with the students rather than add them yourself, you could do it all in those 3 dots. And then we have channels here that you create as kind of like subtopics or subunits for that. Just, you know, sometimes it gets too crowded here.
This brings on the next, actually nicely works into the next question, is what schools have access, who in schools has access to everything teachers post in Teams, who has access to teachers' activities, for example, time spent on Teams, and what are the guidelines? So I think kind of what you're answering there is pretty good, is that if you send a join code just to your colleagues, only your colleagues can get into that channel. Would that be right?
Absolutely. Only the people you invite to the team. If you create that team, you can create a team with no students, just for yourself, or you can create a team for just your department. So you just add members there, and you see it's divided already between students and teachers. And or if you want, for example, if you are creating something for all the school and you don't want to be joining all the students, teachers, everyone, you just go to edit team. No, sorry, confusing. You go to manage team, settings, team code, generate. Excellent. And that will create a code that the students or teachers or anyone could go there. Sorry. Very good. There is, and actually it works through the browser called Microsoft Edge. I'm going to share now, if that's okay. There it is, this will work. So I'm going to open a PDF from the those sample, I have a lot of things open, the sample paper for junior cycle. So I don't know if you can see it. No, 1 second. I'm going to share again. Sorry. There it is. There it is, I think. Now, I think you all have it there.
Yes.
So I'm going to go. So I downloaded last night, but I guess you can all find it. And let's see if I can find some German test. Pictures. There it is. Question 14, German test. And you can see there, read out loud. So I'm just going to press it.
Make sure you share computer sound and everybody will hear it. So. Oh, yes.
Yeah, it's working?
We can hear it. Go ahead.
1 second, I'll come back again down.
Apologies.
No, not at all. I guess these are the things that happen in class too.
Exactly, but in Zoom, you need to click share computer sound so that the audience can hear. But it looks like you've done that, so well done.
Yeah. In Teams, sometimes by default, they just come rather than for the projector from the computer, so it comes very loud. So you need to change as well the settings. So I don't know why that's not the default. So if I press here, you can change in voice options, different, you have different options there for languages and for German as well. So I'm going to put a woman, Katya, I guess. I put it there. And as well, the slow, normal, or fast. So I'm going to see, please work, because these things never work when you want.
Question 16. KI-Radio nur für Kinder. Erste ein Radio, nur für Kinder und Jugendliche.
So that works very well, I think. As well, if you have test, just test in OneNote, you can do it as well with InView and Immersive Reader. What I normally do is like, I like to use OneNote because it's the first thing we always do. We started using OneNote before Teams was there. And obviously last year we didn't use Teams that much when we weren't, before all the COVID-19. So Teams was there kind of like a communication way, and then we share everything in OneNote. Obviously this year is a bit different, especially for students that are absent. So I try to share it in both. I know it may be a bit more work or a tiny bit more work, but I do like to share it in both. Again, that depends of yourself and your students and what's better suits them. But yeah, I will actually create everything in OneNote. That will be my first instinct. And I know that in other schools it's not that, and they're using more Teams for all that. But yeah, I do like that they use their OneNote as a kind of like digital notebook with all the resources there, and they have that place there that they know where everything is. So that's myself personally, but again, it depends of you and your students. That's actually come up in Teams, all these kind of like little messages. That means that as assignment is coming up and you have to handling and things like that. So they will get little reminders in their activity that something is actually there, ready to go. Like that one there. That one's just published, so they know that something is there that they need to check. And then in their assignments, they will get all their kind of like, that's because it's for the teacher point of view. But there they will see what's, rather than assign, they will see assign, they will see do, they will see hang in, they will see different things there, and they will get little notifications of what's there nearly to go and that they need to work on it. Absolutely, and I'm going to share it here, and I may share this PowerPoint with you as well, so you can access the links. I know that you may think this is a bit American, but it's actually very good. In the Education Center, there are courses for the Microsoft Teams and Microsoft Education demos as well. You can find there, and that's are the ones that you need to click on it. So I think those ones are really good because sometimes you have to do it yourself to know what's going on. And then again, Mike Tholsen, that YouTube, they have really short videos of how to do things, and they are actually really good. I thought they were really good. Anyway, any questions you have, I'm going to share there again my tweet handle, please. I don't use Twitter that much as other years. I'm trying to have a bit of digital detox this year, but please direct message me or send me message. I will normally answer very fast. So any questions, and there is a big community around Microsoft Teams. And I know it sounds, I always say it's kind of like a bit, we are all together in this, but it's actually true. We are all in this together. So anything we can help. No audio feedback, but actually this is really good. And this is new. Well, audio feedback as well. If you don't want to be in the camera, you can. And I'm going to share my Flipgrid again. There it is. So you can actually give audio feedback by record feedback. And that will be a video of yourself. If you want to be in the video, if not, again, we can actually block the camera and just have the video going and things like that. So that's actually, I thought was very good. Not only that, but if a student is happy with sharing their video with the rest of the class, in replies, rather than test, the other students could record videos too, so they could have a nice conversation going on there between the two of them, debate or something like that. So that will be a way, a kind of turnaround of themselves, practicing the language between themselves. So that it is. And yeah, the record feedback I thought was very good. The record video, audio feedback I thought was very good as well. Because when you record with Flipgrid now, you can have, you can actually don't have your face, if not a black board that you can write to a test. That could be as well very good to give a couple of feedback points there with your voice, but not your face, if not a key point. OneNote, and within OneNote, just all resources available there with OneNote. Basically, this is just what is the name? I insert a table. I know I always say it's very easy, but it makes a big difference in how it looks. So I insert a table and I change the color of the table, and that's just already pop-ups like a sticky note or something like that. And then I start writing. And this one was created, I don't know, I have a lot of time, 1 year, with PowerPoint. There are just as well some things that you do. What is the name? Some shapes that you get from PowerPoint, and you just put it together. It's basically like a circle and squares, and they are not very difficult to make. And if you copy and paste and you bring it to OneNote, they look like that. No, moderation there, no, it have to be public. And I know that, you know, maybe for older kids will work a lot better than for young ones. So yeah, I always very careful with moderation at the beginning when I'm using Flipgrid, because obvious reasons, just to keep an eye in these kind of things. And just, I know that we are a language, but I think in this point we are all IT teachers as well. So it will be a very good way of talking, and as well, vocabulary of social media and sharing and be careful and all of that. So yeah.
The students can see each other's replies then as well.
If they are in moderation, no, because they cannot see the videos. So you have to be public. I normally, what I ask them if they are okay with sharing their videos with the rest of the class.
Perfect. Thank you.
We are using actually Fiesta in Educate, and because we are using that book is the one that sometimes I get things from it. But if not, I will not use anything that we are not using in the school for copyright reasons, of course. I would like to say that you know, this is not like a rule fits all. I think everyone, and unfortunately, sometimes we have to try things that they don't work well. And that's, I know, it always seems to be the resources that more time we spend that are the ones that the students like less or something, I don't know. But it is that, it's just a try and see, and you know, sometimes it works very well and sometimes no, and sometimes we learn. So for that, I think that sharing is very important, and just to get to know, you know, what worked well for you. It definitely we learn from mistakes, like with the pictures. We were uploading a lot of pictures, but then it was very difficult to give feedback through the pictures. So just adding it to a OneNote page, to a Word document could really help. And things like that, just useful that kind of way. So for that, I think that these events are great, and thank you again for taking the time on Tuesday. I know there was a very good JCT workshop at the same time, so thank you for joining me.